We've all heard that classic saying, people don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad managers, right? But what if that manager isn't just bad? What if they're deeply insecure? Well, today we're going to dig into exactly that, the psychology and the strategy behind dealing with insecure leadership.
So let's start with the big question, the one that probably keeps some of you up at night. Is the person who's supposed to be championing your career actually your biggest advocate? Or are they, maybe without even realizing it, your silent saboteur? And I want to be super clear about this from the get-go. This is not about a simple personality clash. We're not talking about office drama. No. Insecure leadership is a full-blown business problem. It's driven by fear, and it absolutely kills innovation and morale. So for this explainer, we're going to treat it like an investigation. All right, so every good investigation starts with finding the evidence. And believe me, insecure leaders, they leave a trail of clues. Learning how to spot these is absolutely the first step in protecting yourself. Okay, evidence marker number 1, control tactics. Now, the key thing to get here is the why. The micromanagement, it's not because they have high standards. It's a defense mechanism. They're terrified that you might find a better, smarter way to do something, which would expose them. That's why they hoard important work and keep information close to the chest, because for them, control feels like survival. Next up, let's talk about ego protection. You'll see this all the time. When the team gets a big win, who swoops in to take all the credit? Yep, it calms that little voice in their head telling them they're not good enough. But when things go south, oh, you better believe that blame gets passed around faster than hotcakes. And constructive feedback? Forget about it. To them, it feels like a personal attack. And this might be the most damaging clue of all: threat mitigation. A secure leader builds up their best people. An insecure leader sees them as a threat. A rising star isn't an asset, they're a rival. New ideas get shut down because anything that challenges the status quo feels dangerous. And they will avoid conflict at all costs, because in their mind, if they don't crushingly win a confrontation, they've lost face. So we've laid out the clues, we know what they do. But to really crack this case, we have to unmask the why. What is the psychological engine driving all this destructive behavior? Well, it turns out research has a pretty clear answer. And it all comes down to this really fascinating concept called the bottom line mentality. Just picture a leader who feels totally overwhelmed. Maybe they're worried about their own job. To cope, their brain takes a mental shortcut. It just narrows its focus down to one single thing it can control, like hitting a sales number. And everything else, like ethics or your well-being, just becomes background noise. And you can see how this creates a toxic chain reaction. It all starts right here, with the leader's own personal job insecurity. This deep-seated fear that they're not good enough, that their position is on shaky ground. And that fear, that uncertainty, is the trigger. It kicks in that bottom-line mentality as a way to cope. It's like their brain is saying, okay, the world is too complicated, just hit this one number. If you hit this number, you'll be safe. It actually reduces their mental stress. And here it is, the final awful link in the chain. Once that tunnel vision takes over, it suddenly becomes okay to treat people like tools. If the only thing that matters is hitting that target, then stealing your credit or blocking your promotion or burning you out, it's not just acceptable, it's logical. You become a resource to be exploited for their own survival. Okay, I know, that was all pretty heavy. But here's the good news. Once you understand the why, you can start to act. This isn't about being a victim. It's about becoming a strategist. So let's talk about strategic countermoves, or what we call managing up. So the game plan here is to directly neutralize their specific fears. For instance, if they micromanage because they're afraid of being out of the loop, you give them visible reassurance. Send them frequent, proactive updates before they even have to ask. It literally calms their anxiety. Or if they're afraid of being outshone by you, you use reputation buffering. Publicly, in meetings, you give them credit. You frame your success as a result of their amazing mentorship. You're basically sending a signal to their insecure brain that says, hey, I'm an ally, not a threat. And we have to be really honest here. The goal is not to change your boss. You are not their therapist. You can't fix their deep-seated insecurity. The goal is to use your emotional intelligence to lower your threat level in their eyes, so you can get the breathing room you need to do great work. But managing up is just one part of your toolkit. You also need an insurance policy, a way to protect yourself. You need to build your own case file, and we call this the brag document.
Now, this is so much more than just a list of things you did for your annual review. Think of it as your personal archive of evidence. When you have a manager who might forget your contributions, or worse, take credit for them, this document becomes your undeniable proof of value. It's your secret weapon.
And here's the playbook for doing it right. First, update it every single week. Don't wait or you'll forget the small wins. Second, focus on impact, not tasks. Don't just say what you did, say what the result was. Quantify it. Reduce setup time by 20%. Third, use it to find the 20% of your work that creates 80% of the value. That's your superpower. And finally, share it. Sharing this with your manager actually makes their job easier and makes your value impossible to ignore.
So you've tried managing up. You've been building your brag document, but let's be real. Sometimes the situation just isn't fixable. And that's when you have to make the final critical call. Is it time to stay or is it time to go? And here's a really clear framework to help you make that choice. If your growth is being actively blocked, like they won't let you get a promotion or transfer, that's a huge red flag. If they're asking you to bend the rules or compromise your integrity, get out. If you've tried these strategies for a good 3 to 6 months and nothing has changed, it's probably not going to. And most importantly, if the stress is affecting your health, it's time to start planning your exit, period. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Dealing with an insecure leader is basically a masterclass in emotional intelligence. It forces you to get strategic, to document your value, and to manage difficult dynamics. So use these tools, stay focused on the incredible value you bring, but always, always know when the smartest, strongest move you can make is to walk away and protect your own future.